Hello, my friend. I have a bad and a good news for you. Now, let's take a second here and imagine. I want you to imagine what a new can be bad to you. And how would you feel about that? You really think about it. What's a new can be bad to you? Is it a death of a relative, of a loved one, or is it a loss of money? What kind of new could you consider being a bad one to you? And what new would you consider being a good news for you? I'm really interested in knowing that. Write down in the comment section. Now, whatever a new is, however you think about that new, if you call it bad or if you call it good, it all comes down to how you feel about them. So in this video, let's explore how you feel about news, especially bad ones. And in most cases, how we feel about the bad news is afraid. We are afraid of bad news. We certainly have fears about the bad news. Imagine that I tell you that someone that you really love is going to die. Or you might feel sad and all that, but really, because that person is not dead yet, what you feel the most is fear. So in this video, let's dive into fears and understanding what fears means and how you can correctly understanding the meaning of the fear and how to navigate fears in your life. Welcome to this video. My name is Chris Kobe, and I'm going to guide you on a journey walking around fears and different type of emotion that surround news. You see, sometimes ago I was thinking mainly that my mind is always trying to colorate thought and emotions, and I was really thinking I couldn't definitely trust my emotions at the time because first, however I explain my emotion to myself or others is truth thought. And what's happening is my mind is always trying to colorate thought. So how can I trust my emotions if however I explain them to myself is first truth thought that are not necessarily real or authentic? So it comes first down to first knowing whatever emotion you feel and really understanding what that emotion means. Now here, I already mentioned that we are going to talk about fear, but already in your heart and in your mind, you already have a definition of what fears means to you. Everybody has a different definition of what emotion, that different type of emotion means to them. For instance, love is a general concept of something that we all have knowledge about, but each person feels it differently. So there's with fear. Fear is just something that we feel as an emotion towards an event or a situation. So what actually is the base concept or the core principle behind fear? Now, here is how fears even happen. Fear is not about something that is happening, but it is an anticipation of something that may happen. Did we start this video? I said I had a bad and a good news for you. And what bad news can generate fear in your mind? Just think about it. Now, the bad news might not happen yet, but you already anticipate that and you have been afraid about whatever you think may happen that may affect you, your life negatively. Now, are you afraid of a good news? Definitely not. Well, some people do get afraid of good news, but in most cases, you are not afraid of good news. You are even thrilled and happy about the good news, but you are afraid only about the bad news because there is a negative emotion associated with that. But here is the thing. Now, if you are projecting something bad might happen, which I was going to tell you like a bad news, then you are in a very extraordinary position because you are in a charge in seeing the future. You have the capacity to see something that is not happening yet, but that you think and foresee that can happen. So now you can take proper action in order to eradicate that or analyze what kind of action that you can take or accept it if it is out of your control. So fear basically means that it gives you a kind of prompt, it gives you a kind of visualization of something that you think out of a situation can happen that is not in your favor. So by knowing that something can happen and it definitely will not be in your favor, you have three options. You have the first option to take actions to eradicate that, or try to find out the action that you can take, or accept it if it is not actually something that you can change with your course of actions. So fear basically means, first, the laziness to take the proper actions, or the inability to analyze the kind of set of action that you can take in order to eradicate a kind of outcome that you don't desire, or the incapacity to accept the situation if it is out of your control. So basically, fear is not a negative thing, it's actually a direction towards what you should be doing. If you are afraid of something, it's probably telling you that there is something here that you can do. There is an option that you can do, or if you cannot do anything, then you just leave it, right? So in most cases, there are always something that you can do. What you can do might be, for instance, of not doing anything, right? So imagine your your really relative or loved one is dying, and you know the person is dying. What is the best in that case that you can do? Either you give your love, you give financial support, or whatever you can do to help save their life. But in case you've done everything and it's not working, what is the main thing that you can do anymore? Well, you might think, okay, you can save the person's life, but probably you cannot, because life is out of your control. Someone else's life is out of control. There are certain extent of that life that is maybe within your control, as what you can do with financial means or emotional support to support that person in sort of a situation. But out of that, most of them is out of your control. So by first understanding the limitation of your control, the control of actions, your actions, you then set yourself to do that correct thing that you know it is within your broad scope control, and then leave the rest to the universe. Now, here's the thing. You want to be honest, really honest with yourself, with what you think really is in your control. That means assessing the situation and really analyzing what you think is honestly your action can change. What is that thing that you think if you do it, your course of action can change it? Because most of the time, whatever we want to do, we still have fears. I mean, there are tons of fear that we face in our daily life, and failure on recognizing that can cause you really damage in your life. Because fear, as you can already see, is not a bad thing. It is something that you can use into your favor, but it is also something that can make you paralyzed and like can make you paranoid, that you will not take any sort of action. Because if you believe that your actions won't have any effect, then definitely you will not do anything. But if you believe that your action will have an effect, then you will probably do something. Meaning that if you believe there is something in the situation that can be changed because of your action, then you will definitely be willing to do something. But if you feel there is nothing to do here, which is that everything is out of your control, your action then might not be, by me not taking any kind of action to change the situation, which can also be fine after you completely being honest with yourself and assessing the situation, understanding that there is nothing that you can do here to change the situation. Well, that also comes down to being honest with yourself and knowing that. So by far, fear can manifest in different ways in your life. Fear can manifest in different way in different situations. Now, but the core principle of fear is still the same. It is the laziness to take the proper actions, the incapacity of knowing the action that you want to take, and the inability to admitting when it is out of your control. So that is what fear is, and it calls paranoia. It's called different type of thing in your brain and in your body and in your emotions. So I hope you've understood so far what fear means in its broad scope. Now, it can manifest in different way in your life. How you feel it and how you approach it can be different. But the core principle here is first recognizing when you've been afraid of something, or when you are having a thought about something that falls down into this category, and knowing that it leads into fear. Because However you feel fear, I mean, if you feel it in your chest, on your stomach, it doesn't matter. But what is the core main thought that is deriving that emotion fall down into, we are trying to take a set of action. You know, for instance, you want to travel to some place and you don't know how you're gonna be. Then you are having thought of what you can do, what you cannot do. Those can generate fears in your mind, all that. So first you want to understand the thought pattern that generate those emotions, and then assessing, okay, what is it that you can do about them, and categorizing them into that specific category of emotion, which is fear, and then knowing how to deal with it properly. Now, don't try to get rid of fear. I mean, we want to be fearless. Everybody is trying to be fearless, but I don't think it is the really great alternative here, because I don't know if anybody that has done any great thing without being afraid. Well, managing the fear is different from not having fear at all. Like, if you are not afraid at all, I mean, we wouldn't exist at this point if the people, I mean, our great grandparents from history hasn't been afraid of getting eaten by the lion or getting killed by the dinosaur. They've been afraid and they saved their life. That's why in our DNA, fear is ingrained and fear is part of us. So that is a fundamental instrument, I mean, emotion that we use for survival instinct. So you cannot try to get rid of fear. You can try to overcome it. You can try to learn to understand it. And you can try to learn how to deal with fear in your ways, because nobody really going to teach you a specific way to deal with fear, because it might manifest in different way with you, but you have a very broad understanding how to deal with fear, and then you start understanding how you specifically might deal with the fear. It might be just taking a couple of action, it might be just staying a little bit longer, it might be taking some kind of adventures, or it might be doing whatever works for you. But first you have to recognize you cannot stop fears, you cannot stop being happy. There are moments, of course, that will make you happy, and there are moments, of course, that will make you afraid. Accept every emotions, welcome them, and analyze how to deal with them properly. So that was my take on fears. And if you know someone that is afraid of taking a set of action, if you know someone that is afraid, or if you yourself are afraid of doing certain things that you would like to do, let me know in the comment section, how are you planning to do, or how are you planning to deal with the fear? Are you letting it to paralyze you, knowing that you probably know that some actions of you can change the situation? Or are you trying to change the situation when you can probably not change it? So let me know what you think, and let me know how you feel about fear. Again, thank you for your time, and I appreciate you subscribing to my channel, and hit the like button on under this video. Share with the people that you think might need to hear this, and I hope you have an amazing time, and that your fears can be turned into greatness. Your fear can be your burst competitive edge in this game of life, and I hope that you use it wisely. I hope that fear serves you and not use you, and I hope that you become great by using your fear into your greatness. So that was my take on fear, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your time again. It's your boy Kobe, and let's dive into it. Just subscribe to the channel, and just hit this just hit the like button. So thank you for your time. Bye bye.